What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 787 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo to get your week started off on the right foot, on the left foot, and of course moving in the right direction so we're on the road to victory to start this week, because that's what we're doing. We're back in the win column as the Philadelphia Eagles head up to Minnesota and handle Carson Wentz and the Vikings 28-22 in a game where Jalen Hurts was simply perfect in all essence of that word. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about QB1. We'll talk about A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith. We'll talk about some of the lackluster things. We'll get into that as well. We'll talk about the defense stepping up again. One of #myguys. Maybe listen to the pod on Thursday. Who's to say? We will also go around the NFL. We'll talk a little Flyers as they get a big-time win on Saturday at home. And then I will also talk some Philadelphia Union as the Union's postseason schedule has officially dropped. Decision day has come to a close. The Union obviously win the Supporter Shield, as we all know, and they are top of the Eastern Conference. They have a nice little bye before they have to get into the action as they await their opponent nonetheless. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. Really helps when you guys follow us, helps us continue to grow, and lets more people just see what the heck we're all about. So keep following us on the socials. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and our entire catalog of podcasts. So keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We are currently at 1,110 subscribers, which means we are 90 subscribers away from our next 100 subscriber milestone. I would love to hit that before Harrison and I turn 21 on October 29th, so about 10 days from the time of me recording this, 8 or 9 days from the time you guys are listening to this. So let's hit that milestone. Let's make that happen. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and smash that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And guys, as you all know, this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland, and as we've been talking about for quite some time now, the Garden State Comic Fest is coming to the new Vineland Convention Center Saturday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Meet Melissa Joan Hart, yes, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, plus fan favorite stars like Dan Parent, the legendary Archie's comic artist and writer, Kevin Clash, the voice of Elmo, Splinter, and Baby Sinclair, Keith Williams, the iconic comic book inker from Marvel, and newly announced recently, Philadelphia Eagles legend Vince Papale will be at the Garden State Comic Fest on November 15th and 16th. So come on out. So much more as well. Comics, cosplay, collectibles, and over 6,000 fans. Visit gscfvineland.com for all the details. Again, the Garden State Comic Fest is coming to the new Vineland Convention Center Saturday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For all the details, visit gscfvineland.com, Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
Hello, I'm Mayor Anthony Fanucci. Vineland, New Jersey offers both a great business location and an outstanding quality of life. But don't just take my word for it, the experts agree. We're proud to be recognized as a premier food processing and logistics hub, one of New Jersey's most affordable and desirable cities, and one of the best places to retire in the country. Visit vinelandcity.org and see how our resources can work for you. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Eagles fans everywhere, how we doing as we sit here and celebrate another Victory Monday here in 2025? The Eagles win 28-22 against the Minnesota Vikings. And was it pretty the whole time? Not necessarily. Were there some moments where you're like, here we go again, as we have the past couple of weeks? Sure. But Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, the defense has their moments. Cooper DeJean was fantastic. Jalix Hunt may or may not have listened to me on the show last episode saying I needed him to step up. Zach Bond continues to be Zach Bond. Quinyon Mitchell, even not at 100%, looked pretty decent. And Moro Jomo continues to be one of the greatest stocks I ever bought in a player as the Eagles improve to 5-2 on the season, beat another NFC opponent that I tried to tell everyone early on seemed very fraudulent. Everyone was buying all of this. Oh, the Vikings are going to be good. The Vikings are going to be this dominant team to start the year and be a team that's going to be in the mix. They went 14-3 with Sam Darnold. Now they got J.J. McCarthy and the weapons, and McCarthy's been out. Carson Wentz has played. Defense doesn't look as good as it did last year. They've kind of regressed. I kind of know ball. It's crazy when you kind of recognize some things about teams. Jalen Hurts, we'll start there. And Victory Monday, guys, as you all know. Whenever it's a Victory Monday, there's no better way to celebrate than with our friends at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Maryland, and Delaware areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores, convenience stores, and grocery stores in those markets where available. Again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Kenwood is a finer lager. Grab a Kenny for a tailgate, a big game, or just a good time. We love Kenwood Beer here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. But as always, guys, make sure you're always drinking and celebrating responsibly with our official Victory Monday partner, Kenwood Beer. Jalen Hurts was perfect in this game, and I'm not even exaggerating. Jalen Hurts finished with a perfect passer rating in this football game and was just simply fantastic throughout this entire matchup with the Vikings. And it's been real quiet on the timeline today as I'm recording this on Sunday night, just after Sunday Night Football, excuse me. Haven't heard much from the yappers online, and shout out to my good pal and friend of the program, OJ Spivey. Perfect QB ratings, which is a 158.3 in Eagles history. Donovan McNabb on September 23rd, 2007 versus Detroit. Nick Foles on November 3rd, 2013 at Oakland. And Jalen Hurts, October 19th, 2025 at Minnesota. Seems pretty damn good to me. Jalen Hurts was perfect in this game. Did everything you could have asked for in this football game. 19 of 23, 326 yards, and 3 touchdowns. No interceptions. Got the ball to both of his dominant playmaking wide receivers. 9 catches, 183 yards, which is a new career high in a game and a touchdown for DeVonta Smith. A.J. Brown, 4 catches, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns in this game. Diana Rossini's going to be real quiet this week, isn't she? There's going to be no league sources saying, oh, we're calling about A.J. Brown to try to acquire him in a trade. That ain't going to be happening this week. No, none of those league sources are yapping now, are they, Diana? I don't think so. And I respect Diana. But goddamn, the just wherewithal to know that, 1, A.J. Brown's not going to get traded, and 2, he literally cannot be traded because of the dead cap hit, and getting everyone spiraled out of control with it is crazy clickbait. It's crazy clickbait work from Diana Rossini. I think she's going to be real quiet on the timeline this week, and I'm sure her husband is going to love it, because if you don't know, Diana Rossini's husband is an Eagles fan. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. AJ and DeVonta were spectacular today. DeVonta was just manipulating every single route that he ran in this one, and I tweeted a video of one of his routes today, and it was just absolutely spectacular. I mean, the route on, I think it was his 79-yard touchdown, was just truly like a work of art, and he talked about it post-game and said, like, he recognized something that the Vikings were doing, and went and talked to Jalen, talked to Kevin Patullo about it, and it was just perfect. It was just so perfect. And I can't stop watching. It was a perfect throw from Jalen. And the way DeVonta just worked the route, I'm trying to find the video that I posted that was more like close up about the route that he ran. But it was just spectacular. And this was the type of game DeVonta Smith absolutely needed. This was the type of game that I think a lot of people have been waiting for from DeVonta. I thought it was going to come against the Broncos because in his lone time against the Broncos, we have seen DeVonta pop off, and I thought it was going to be in that game. But for it to come here against the Vikings was perfect timing. The Eagles absolutely needed it. And it's one of those things that you wanted to see this from Jalen in a week like this. 10 days off after the Thursday night debacle against the Giants, and then you get Jalen going 19 of 23, no interceptions, 326 yards in the air, 3 touchdowns, and he had negative 10 rushing yards simply because it was all kneel downs at the end of the game. Like, Jalen didn't have to use his legs today. Just a damn good execution in the passing game. And, I love the confidence that Jalen had, just going and finding his guys down the field. Going and saying, hey, we're going to throw the football today. We're going to take advantage of it. And we're going to throw the football against the best passing defense in the NFL so far this season. And they absolutely cooked them. They absolutely cooked the Vikings in the passing game. And they are the best passing defense, in the NFL this season. And they went out there and absolutely stone cold cooked them, which was just spectacular. I hope people recognize that this team is still a very good football team. I know there's going to be a lot of pundits. ESPN's going to be real quiet this week. Like I said, Diana's going to be real quiet this week. The flagship radio station's probably going to be real quiet this week, if I had to guess. But man, it's truly one of those things that it reminds you that this team still is wildly talented. And they are simply, yes, I found the clip here of DeVonta. He absolutely cooked Isaiah Rodgers. Cooked his ass. I love Isaiah. Super Bowl champion forever. But DeVonta put on a clinic on you, my friend. Holy moly. Just the cut to the outside and then breaks back in and leaves Isaiah Rodgers dumbfounded. And he's doing everything to take him down, but DeVonta just doesn't stop moving his feet. And it was just a thing of beauty. But here's the thing. A game like this, it wasn't perfect, okay? I'm not saying this game was perfect because it was far from perfect. But the Eagles found a way to win, unlike what they've been able to do the last 2 weeks of the season so far coming into this game. When you get that type of performance from your MVP caliber quarterback, who is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, when you get that type of performance from your 2 superstar wide receivers, when you get a pick 6 from Jalen Hurts, who absolutely needed that to build his confidence this year, because Harrison and I talked about it on the last episode, Jalen Hurts has underperformed this year, and for him to go out and have the vision and go get that pick 6 was amazing. And quite frankly, like, Moro Ojomo, who has been one of the best defensive players the team has had all year, was sensational again. Josh Uche, who I was very high on, the buy low type of signing, had his first sack in an Eagles uniform today. He was great. I think he's been very sneakily good this year and just doesn't get a lot of shine when he should. This is a game that I take away a lot of positives, but still room for growth. Special teams was not great. Offensive play calling still had a lot to be desired in a lot of spots. The run game still is not there. The offensive line is still underperforming. And I get, Juergens left the game and Brett Toth is not that good. But the offensive line has been one of their deficiencies all season, not just today. But I do take away that I am a lot less worried about, not that I was necessarily worried, so let me not phrase it that way. I am more confident in the passing game today than I was 10 days ago. I feel a lot better about the passing game than I did 10 days ago. It feels like this team is now not afraid to let some things rip, and that feels like Jalen Hurts decisions and not Kevin Patullo decisions. In the past, it felt like Jalen Hurts was almost making the safer throws to prevent turning the football over. But now I think Jalen Hurts has the confidence and the wherewithal to find his receivers down the field, and he knows where to put the football because he's just grown over the past couple of years, from 2022 to 2023 to 24 to now. And I think he's just confident in his guys that much more, and they're on the same page. And I truly have faith in Jalen Hurts. The hot mic of A.J. Brown when he caught his second touchdown, he said, just let him throw the fucking ball. Yeah. And that's not a detriment on Jalen Hurts or anything. That is more so taking a shot at Kevin Patullo and the play calling to be like, let our quarterback throw the football. He's capable of throwing the football. Plain and simple. But I loved a lot of what I saw today. There was some other things that were a lot to be desired. A lot was left out there to be desired from this team. The missed field goal was unfortunate. I do think there was probably another touchdown out there at least, if not 2. And the pass rush, even though they got home a couple of times on Carson Wentz, still a lot to be desired there. I still need to see a lot more from Jalen Carter. I want to see more from Jordan Davis, even though he's been very good this season, for a majority of the games that he has played in, which is all of them, obviously. But for a majority, he's been very good. Still want to see more. Moro Ojomo's been fantastic. Jalen Hunt, I want to see him build off of this. Josh Uche, I want to see him build off of this. I can't wait for Nolan Smith to get back. And then, obviously, you have the report today about Brandon Graham. Here's my take on the Brandon Graham report. Jake Glazer, Schefter, Rappaport all coming out and saying Brandon Graham potentially going to work out for the Eagles, could have a contract signed this week for him to return and come out of retirement. Here's the pros and the cons. Pros, you're getting another pass rusher who I still think had a lot left in the tank even when he retired. Another pro, I think hearing that news will light a fire under some of these guys' asses if they're true competitors. The guys like Jalen Hunt, the guys like Josh Uche, Nolan Smith, obviously. And I think a positive of it, too, is having BG in the locker room would be a massive, chemistry, character buildup that I think this team is missing a little bit of that veteran leadership on the defensive side of the football. It's a very young defense. Zadarius Smith is retired now. CD Deuce is not walking through that door. Darius Slay is gone. BG has been gone this whole season. And I think they're missing a lot of the veteran defensive leadership that the offense has. The offense has Mylatas and Lane Johnsons and Jalen Hurts and AJs and DeVontas and Saquons. List goes on and on. Dallas Goedert. There's veterans in that offensive room where the defense, I think the oldest player might be Zach Bond. I don't know who the oldest player on the defense is. Who is the oldest member of the Eagles defense? Let's take a look. Defense. So of your typical starters, your oldest member of your defense, it might be Zach Bond at 28 years old. Holy schmoly. Uche's 27. It might be Bond. I mean, Marcus Epps is on the team. He's 29, but I wouldn't consider him an every down starter at that juncture either. I might have nailed that on the head. Yeah, it's Zach Bond is your oldest member of the defense at 28 years old. And I'm not saying that's a problem at all. But you definitely need to, realize that this team doesn't have a lot of veteran experience on the defensive side of the football. A lot of these guys were drafted together. A lot of these guys have, grown in the NFL together. So it's not a surprise that there's a little bit of, lack of veteran leadership. And not saying Zach Bond's not a veteran leader. He absolutely is. But he's really the only, NFL vet on this team. Jalen Carter's still young. Jordan Davis is still young. Quinyon and Coop and Reed are still young. Jahad Campbell is a child. Okay? There's a lot, and I trust the defense to fix and correct a lot of things simply because Vic Fangio's here. Vic Fangio is here, and I think the big takeaway here from Patullo is he's still not great. He's still not, something to write home about. But if Jalen Hurts takes things into his own hands, this team can move the football a little bit. I do think the biggest takeaways, though, offensive line needs to get cleaned up. You should not be, going into the year, obviously taking injuries out of it. Coming into the season, losing Mekhi Becton should not have this offensive line falling apart. And obviously Landon and Cam getting injured is not ideal. But, Mailata's got to play a little bit better. And I love Jordan Mailata. But he has not been, the all-world caliber left tackle we have seen him be in years past to start this season. He's got to step his game up and be a lot better than he has been. Lane Johnson has obviously missed some time in games with injury. And you just have to be better protecting the quarterback, opening lanes for the running game. Saquon Barkley has not gotten going at all this year. And the Eagles are 5-2. Eagles are 5-2. And Saquon Barkley this year has 369 yards through 7 games. He's averaging 3.3 yards a carry, has 3 touchdowns. There is a lot to still grow and build upon for this football team. And I don't think Saquon's going to be stuck at 369 yards, like that average pace, for the rest of the season. He's going to have some of those games where he breaks out. He hasn't had a game where he's rushed for 100 yards yet. That's crazy. And, you knew there was going to be some step back from the crazy season he had last year of 345 rushing attempts, 2,005 rushing yards, averaging almost 6 yards a carry. Like that was natural. That was going to happen. But the offensive line is where that starts, and they've got to be better. The running game has to be better, and that's going to open up so much more for the passing game that performed wildly well today. Wildly well. And I'm proud of Jalen. I'm proud of AJ. Proud of DeVonta, because they stepped up in a spot where they could have absolutely folded this team. We could have seen the beginning of the end of this season right before our eyes today. They could have folded. They could have packed it in and said, hey, it was fun. We tried. We got to get Kevin Patullo out of here. This, that, and the third. No. They came to play. They stepped up. Was it easy? No. But they found a way to win. And at the end of the day, in the NFL, that's what matters. This is not old school college BCS rules where you need to win with style points. You just go and win a football game, and that's that. And you move on to the next one. And you get a nice, quick little revenge game upcoming against a team who just got their hearts absolutely shattered for the world to see in the New York Giants. And I hope the Eagles are ready to punch them in the mouth. That's what you got to hope for upcoming, is winning a game like this on the road when everyone's, against you that don't have brains, pretty much. Those are the people that are against you. You go out, silence them, and now it's time to step up and get some revenge, win a divisional game, and keep building your divisional lead in this NFC East that right now is wide open. The Giants, if you beat them next Sunday, that's a potential nail in the coffin for them, even with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and all of this aura farming nonsense that everyone's trying to pitch about the Giants because they have 2 white guys at key positions on an NFL offense. Talk to the Denver Broncos and, see what 33 points in the fourth quarter looks like, and then come talk to me about aura with the New York Giants. The Cowboys, their defense sucks, okay? They have a great offense. I will not bash that whatsoever. But when you look at who the Cowboys have played this year, they played the Eagles, who the Eagles have already beaten them. It's a big-time win. Cowboys get into a overtime shootout with the Giants. That was the Russell Wilson Giants, by the way. They lose to the Bears 31-14. They tie the Packers 40-40. They beat the Jets 37-22. They let the Jets score 22 points on them. They lose to the Panthers 30-27, and then they beat the Commanders 44-22. They have not allowed less than 22 points to an opponent all season. 22 is the fewest amount of points a team has scored on the Cowboys defense. That's not good. Okay? Just because you have the ability to go and like be in shootouts and outscore opponents, this, that, and the third, take a look at what the Bears did to them. Take a look at what, ended up with the Packers. And the Cowboys play at Denver next week. Then they're home to the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. They're at the Raiders off their bye. And then the Eagles go down to Jerry World. And then quick turnaround. Thanksgiving, they're home against the Chiefs. Then they're at Detroit. Then they're home to the Vikings, home to the Chargers, Commanders, Giants. Their schedule's not easy. And if they're going to be in shootouts all year, it's not going to be a fun schedule for the Cowboys. I'll tell you that much. And the Commanders, Jane Daniels got hurt today with the hamstring injury. Hopefully he's okay. Never want to see that happen to anybody. But they've got Monday Night Football at Arrowhead against the Chiefs next week. Then they're home to Seattle Sunday Night Football, home to the Lions. Then they're at the Dolphins in Spain. And then they are home to the Broncos off their bye. And then they're at Minnesota, at the Giants, home to the Eagles, home to the Cowboys, at the Eagles. Their schedule's not easy either. And you look at the Eagles' schedule the rest of the way. The Eagles have home game against the Giants next week, bye week, at the Packers. That'll be a fun game. Packers almost lost to Jacoby Brissett, though. Then they are home to the Lions on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a doozy of a game. Then we're at the Cowboys, Black Friday, home to the Bears. That game is not as easy as it looked coming into the season. At the Chargers, home to the Raiders, at the Commanders, at the Bills, home to the Commanders. A lot easier, in my opinion, than the other schedules. Yes, the Packers will be hard. Yes, the Lions will be hard. Cowboys divisional game. Bears will be a little trickier than we thought. The Chargers don't scare me really at all. The Raiders are the Raiders. The Commanders, it's a divisional game. We'll see how that goes. And then the Bills, they're in the same boat as us. They're not much different. And I'm putting all my bias aside and just looking at this. This stacks in the Eagles' favor right now. And the biggest part of this was the Eagles were able to start the season 4-0. They were able to start the season 4-0, get big wins against the Rams, big win against the Buccaneers, big win against the Chiefs, just to kind of, test your strength, a divisional win against the Cowboys. They built a nice, hefty lead for themselves to feel good about going into this next part of the season. And I think when it's all said and done, this is a good win for the Birds. There's a lot to build upon from this win. And when you have your quarterback go perfect, there's no one else you tip the cap to. Tip of the cap to Uno, none other than Jalen Hurts. Our tip of the cap is brought to you by our awesome pals at 47. Guys, there's no better way to rep your favorite sports teams than with 47. I'm always rocking their headwear. I got the 47 shirt on right now. I'll stand up for you. Look at that. Look at that. The OG Super Bowl champions shirt. Had to wear this gear today as we went to Minnesota, the site of the Eagles' first Super Bowl championship. 47 is truly the best in the game. Like, genuinely, their sportswear for your favorite teams will have you standing out and people being like, yo, that's fly. Where did you get that? 47. Okay? Truly the best. I got the Super Bowl 59 47 hat right there. Bang. Okay? I'm always wearing 47 on my head. Even when I'm supporting my soccer team, Brighton and Hove Albion, who got a huge win this weekend. I got 47 with Brighton as well because they're the official headwear partner of Brighton because that's how real ones get down. 47 is the place to do it. Use our link in the description. Shop your favorite sports teams, whether it's NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, NASCAR. They've got some soccer stuff still, WNBA, the whole lot. Use our link in the description to shop with 47 and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. It's easy. It's their rewards program. It's free to sign up. You earn points on every purchase you make, which gives you free points to get free things. And if it's free, it's for me. So use our link in the description, shop with 47, and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. And we thank 47 for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Tip of the cap to Jalen Hurts, though. Perfect game type flow. On his Roy Halladay type stuff. Throwing perfect games, perfect passer rating. Third one in Eagles history. Joining the other two quarterbacks that are widely deemed as the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. You know, obviously Carson Wentz had his moments with the Eagles, but Nick Foles had one of the best performances in an Eagles uniform in Super Bowl 52. Donovan McNabb is regarded as the most, the best quarterback in Eagles history. I say it's Jalen Hurts now, but that's just me. Jalen Hurts, though, perfect passer rating, silenced every fucking hater on the internet. No one was talking about the Eagles today after that win. No one was talking about Jalen Hurts and how he had a perfect passer. A lot of, that was the most boring early slate of the season that we've seen in the NFL this year. You fucking nerds. Jalen Hurts put on a fucking clinic, and because he didn't throw for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns on 14 of 16 passing, you had nothing to say. You had nothing to say. Jalen Hurts was phenomenal today for the Eagles. 300-plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns in the air, perfect passer rating, and a motherfucking W. He's the real deal. We've been trying to tell everyone. Real ones that listen to this show know that we are Jalen Hurts supporters through and through. But the outside world wants to try to paint this picture of Jalen Hurts that he's incapable of throwing the football. A lot of people, it seems like they're watching Jalen Hurts play football for the first time when he throws the football. He's been about this. He has done it. Did you not watch the Super Bowl last year? Like, have you not watched Jalen Hurts have moments and have games that he throws the football with ease? He did that today against the Minnesota Vikings, the best passing defense in the NFL to date. Was able to navigate a Brian Flores-led defense and made that defense look silly. He had their corners on skates. He was slicing and dicing them up with ease. But Jalen Hurts can't pass the football. Sure looks like he can to me. And I've known that for a long time. But a lot of you clickbait artists out there, a lot of you social media savants that have, the weird logos next to your Twitter handle because you're affiliated with them, because you're clickbait artists and you just get a lot of views on your tweets for saying bullshit. Y'all were real quiet after this one. I ain't hear a lot from a whole lot of nobodies. The real ones were loud and proud for Jalen Hurts today, though. The real ones who are loud and proud for Jalen Hurts all the time. We're standing on business for this one. But all you goofies out there who continue to just try to deny that Jalen Hurts can throw the football, that Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, you morons looked real stupid today. You looked real stupid. And guess what? I flourish when those types of people look stupid. I love that type of flow. I love when the idiots just look absolutely moronic. The big dumb dipshits, if you will. The doofuses. The dingbats. I love when they come out to play. Because they don't remember that we keep receipts here in Philadelphia. The receipts are always kept. And I love when they get retweeted on the timeline. Shout out to Real Mama Eagle. He is the GOAT of the retweets, the receipt keepers. My boy Nick Picone, another one, loves keeping the receipts. The receipt keeping in Philadelphia is a sport in and of itself. And when the big dumb dipshits forget about it, it is a beautiful sight on the timeline. What a win for the Birds. Am I right? What a win for the Birds. A lot of stuff has happened in the NFL this week, too. And we will go around the NFL here to take a look at some of the happenings. Back on Thursday, the Bengals, Joe Flacco. Something about Flacco. And the Bengals take down the Steelers 33-31. The Rams pummel the Jaguars in London 35-7. As we said, the Eagles beat the Vikings 28-22. The Patriots take down the Titans 31-13. Vrabel revenge game. The Panthers keep the Jets winless as they win 13-6. The Browns take down the Dolphins 31-6. The Bears keep on rolling 26-14 over the Saints. The Chiefs blank the Raiders 31-0. The Colts zap the Chargers in LA 38-24. The Broncos miracle comeback 33 fourth quarter points, the most points scored in a fourth quarter when being shut out for the first 3 quarters in NFL history, to come back and beat the New York Giants 33-32. The Packers survive and beat the Cardinals in Arizona 27-23. The Cowboys beat the Commanders 44-22. And on Sunday Night Football, the 49ers double up the Falcons 20-10. And we've got 2 Monday night games this week. Buccaneers at Lions, huge game there. Huge game in the NFC. And then Texans at Seahawks. Bucks at Lions is at 7 p.m. Texans Seahawks is at 10 p.m. Huge implications there. But one other thing on this Eagles game that was around the NFL. One other thing on this Eagles game, because there was a lot to take away. And I mentioned Josh Uche got that sack. Moro Ojomo, ladies and gentlemen, he has filled in admirably for Milton Williams departing in free agency. People forget Moro Ojomo was a 7th-round pick in the 2023 NFL draft. Born in Nigeria, didn't start playing football until high school. And I'm so happy I bought stock in him when the Eagles drafted him, because he has been fantastic this year. This year, he's got 2 sacks, 6 solo tackles in 6 games. He had 2 sacks in his career, I think, coming into the year, unless those are being counted from... No, the first 2 sacks of his career have come this year. So he's already, infinity multiplied his sack output from his first 2 years of his career. Granted, year 1, he was more of a rotational player, only played in 8 games, but last year he played in all 17. He's been sensational for this team. He's already matched his solo tackle output from last year. He's damn near close to matching his combined tackle output from last year. He's only 5 off of that mark through 6 games. And I think Moro Ojomo is the type of player Howie Roseman will absolutely re-sign and try to sign to an extension. He's only drafted in 2023, so he's in year 3 of a 4-year deal. I think this is the type of player you try to re-sign during the year or right after the year, before he goes into the final year of his contract. Obviously, you have to re-sign Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, in my opinion, but you also got to re-sign Moro. Morrow's been fantastic, and I think he is the perfect like third defensive tackle in the rotation next to Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. But I had to give Moro Ojomo his flowers because that dude has been amazing to start this season through 6 games, and I just want him to continue to flourish because he's going to be a huge part of this defense, I think, all season long. I think Moro Ojomo is going to be one of those players we look back at the end of the year and it's like, damn, he really like popped off and really like jettisoned his career. And I love that for him. I think he's going to be a key contributor for this team down the stretch. And, you know, who's to say? If Brandon Graham comes back, you have Ojomo, you have Jalen Carter, you have Jordan Davis. Uche's been playing well. Nolan Smith should be back in a couple of weeks. Defensive line looks a little bit better. Hopefully you start getting some more pressure, which opens some things up for Busy Bond and Jihad and Nakobe and the linebackers, and then that opens up things for the secondary to go make some plays like Drew Makuba made today, you know, like Quinn Young can make, like Coop, like Reed Blankenship. I don't know. And who knows what Howie does at the trade deadline. Who knows what Howie goes and does at the trade deadline. And I know I started talking about Brandon Graham and the positives and negatives. The only real negative is like BG went out on top. And it was the perfect like storybook ending to a guy who went through every level of Philadelphia sports fandom of his entire career. And the only way I would want BG, and Jason Kelsey said this earlier this week, the only way you want to see BG back with the Eagles is if he knows he's not done playing football. And obviously BG, he would only come back and play for the Eagles. But I don't know, man. Moro Ojomo has really shown me a lot at the defensive tackle spot. And, you know, you see what you can do. And if BG truly has it in his heart of hearts and can give the Eagles, 10 snaps on defense and all of that, then, like, sure. Like, that's, a hero coming back to the fold. But obviously you don't want to have the storybook ending have a little bit of a weird taste in your mouth with BG coming back and say it's not, perfect or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Who knows? I would love to be able to root for Brandon Graham for another season. Like, that's just me. But if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if it's not, it's not. Plain and simple. But shout out to Moro Ojomo, nonetheless. And our Around the NFL there and little Moro Ojomo talk was brought to you by Paramount Plus. Guys, stream the NFL all season long on Paramount Plus. You can stream your local games live on Paramount Plus. Don't miss a single second of the action all year long. And if you are a student, when you use our link in the description, you can sign up for Paramount Plus today, and you will get free portions because you're getting 50% off your Paramount Plus plan. You will get 50% off your Paramount Plus plan when you use our link to sign up today. So don't miss out. Sign up for Paramount Plus using our link in the description, and don't miss a single second of the NFL action with Paramount Plus. Use our link. If you're a student, get 50% off any Paramount Plus plan when you sign up today. Shout out to Paramount Plus for being a proud partner of the podcast. Let's shift from the gridiron to the ice as the Flyers also played this weekend against Minnesota as well. And they got a big-time win against the Minnesota Wild that they absolutely needed because, Harrison and I kind of went through the fray of games here in October, and we thought they'd get a point against the Jets. The Jets went out and absolutely shellacked the Flyers on Thursday 5-2. And at that point, I was like, oh, man, optimistic October meter. Here we go. What are we doing? And then the Wild game happens, and I'm watching the game. I watched the entire Wild game. I was able to watch that game, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, this is a winnable game. Like, the Flyers are able to crash the net really well right now. They're doing a lot of like good things with the puck, and they just weren't capitalizing for most of the game. And then Owen Tippett scores, and I was like, okay, we're alive. We have some life in this game. And then it goes to overtime, and I'm like, what are we going to experience here? You know, Flyers overtime, that's always a unique experience, if you will. And then Noah Cates comes to the rescue, and the Flyers win 2-1. 2-1 in overtime. Noah Cates has been awesome this year to start the season. 2 goals, 2 assists, almost a point per game. Plus minus of 2 to start the year. That's been good. And the Minnesota kid gets it done against Minnesota. The Flyers are 2-2-1, which is pretty awesome. You know, kind of where we had them. Harrison and I kind of just flipped it on Wednesday recording, Thursday show, where we thought you'd get the point against Winnipeg and you'd lose to Minnesota. They ended up losing to Winnipeg, and Winnipeg's a very good team. They're 4-1 on the year. But Minnesota's not good. They allow a lot of goals, and I thought there was going to be a lot more goals because they don't play good defense. You know, they've given up 22 goals so far this year, which is the most in the Central Division in the West, and 4th most in the West. So I was like, hey, maybe this is a chance for a lot of goals, but it was a low-scoring game. And, you know, there's all this talk of Michkov and everything and him not getting off to the fastest start. I'm not worried about Matvey. I think he's going to figure out a lot. It's his second year. He's still only 20 years old. Allegedly dealing with that ankle injury from the offseason. I'm not all that concerned, you know, and it's still early in the year. It's 5 games for the Flyers so far, which is less than a lot of other teams. Some teams have played 7 already. He's going to get his. He's going to get his. And I'd rather see this be a collective team effort. I want to see the Tyson Forsters and the Noah Cates and the, you know, Trevor Zegras step up and perform just as much as Matvey will end up performing as the season rolls along. But some good wins for the Flyers right now. And, you know, they've got another game upcoming on Monday. As you guys are listening to this, they're home against Seattle before they go up to that one-off road game against Ottawa before they come back home for a nice long 5-game homestand again. And I like where they're at right now. You know, they're 2-1 on this homestand. They got points in both overtime games, obviously, but you walked away with more points against the Wild than you did against the Hurricanes when you should have won that Hurricanes game because the ref screwed you. But nonetheless, you know, you've got the Kraken, who are very good, if I'm remembering correctly, right now. Yeah, they're second in the Pacific Division. They're 3-0-2. And, you know, they're kind of average goal scoring, kind of average goals against, 16-14 plus 2 goal differential. They're a beatable team. I think the Flyers can beat them and prove to, you know, 3 wins at home on the season. Ottawa's very bad. That should be a win. The Islanders are very bad. Like, very bad. They're in last place in the Metropolitan. The Penguins, they're fine. You should be able to beat them or at least get a point against them. And then the Predators are, they're bad too. You know, this should be a fun little stretch here in October for us to feel somewhat cocky for the first time in a while, and that's weird to say about the Flyers because obviously things will kind of regress to the mean, but I should feel good about this team right now. They're giving a nice little juice spark to the city after an unfortunate exit for the Phillies in the postseason early. The Eagles were struggling, and it feels like a lot of people hopped on board in the early go with the Flyers right now, and I'm included in that. I can't tell you the last time I really sat and watched a full Flyers game before last year. It was forever, just because I was like, what is the point? It felt like a whole lot of nothing was going to be going on, and to my chagrin, watching Matt Bay last year really fired me up, and now my boy Trevor Zegras is on this team, and I'm really loving what I'm seeing from Forster and Cates, and Jamie Drysdale is going to continue to progress, and Darth Vladar is doing his thing. You don't know the true power of the goalie side. I probably just freaked out a bunch of people that are listening on headphones, but who cares? I like where this team is headed right now. They're doing a lot of good things that should have a lot of people excited, and that has me pumped. As a Flyers fan and as somebody who wants to see the city of Philadelphia succeed in all facets, the Flyers being good is part of that, and I think it's going to be a fun couple of games upcoming. And when you look at the schedule, Kraken, Senators, Islanders, Penguins, Predators, and then you get the Maple Leafs to start November. Calgary comes into town there too. You got the Canadiens in there, Predators again, Senators again, Oilers, who have been bad to start the year, the Blues a couple of times, the Stars, the Devils, the Lightning, the Panthers again, the Islanders in there again, the Devils, Penguins, Sabres, Avalanche, Sharks, Golden Knights, Hurricanes in a home and home, Canadiens, Sabres, Rangers, Canucks, Blackhawks, Kraken, Canucks, Flames, all before the end of 2025. Like, there's a lot of winnable games in the early go for this team, and it's going to be a matter of just how they respond and how they take advantage of that. And I think a lot of good can come. The Metropolitan Hurricanes are at the top, obviously, and the Flyers gave them their best game of the year, in my opinion. The Devils, they're 4-1 to start the season. The Penguins, I think, are overachieving a little bit. The Capitals are in the mix. The Rangers, I think, are a corpse of a team. I don't really think they're going to be all that good this year. And then the Flyers are there. The Blue Jackets, I think, are bad. The Islanders are bad. The Lightning are really bad. The Senators are really bad. Sabres are bad. The Bruins stink. The Panthers have been off to a horrid start. I think the East is wide open in the NHL in the early go here, and there can be a lot of fun things that the Flyers can do to take advantage of that, and I hope they do. I hope they do, because they deserve it. The Flyers, fans deserve it. Philly deserves it. Let's have a good Flyers season. Good win against the Wild. Let's build upon against Seattle. I want to get to another Flyers game this year. I know I'll be going to a game at some point where we're going to have a nice little company outing with some people at a game soon. So that's going to be a ton of fun. But, the tickets are very affordable right now. So, get in on the fun with the Flyers. Get in on the fun. If you haven't been to a Flyers game like I haven't been in a long time, take advantage. Go to a game because they are a ton of fun. There's going to be, there's going to be a lot of fun games upcoming, and I'm looking forward to what's to come with this team, and we'll see. It's one of those just let's wait and see what happens type of things. But good on the Flyers. Good on the orange and black, baby. And our Flyers talk there brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Guys, you want to stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to Xfinity Mobile Arena to watch the Fly Guys gearing up for the Sixers season. I'm toying with going to the Sixers opener on Saturday. I'm toying with it because tickets are cheap. Tickets are even cheaper for Monday. I'm toying with the decision. Toying with it. You want to stand out in the crowd, going to the link, hanging out with your homies, whatever it may be, PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it. Get your official Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast merch from PHI Apparel Company as well. Use our link in the description or go to phiapparel.co. And when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND. You get 10% off your next merch order from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Again, that's phiapparel.co. Code UNDERGROUND at checkout to get 10% off your next merch order and stand out in the crowd with the official merch partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Speaking of the Sixers, I told you guys we would have an announcement on the show here. I'm going to announce it now. Throughout Sixer season, also big announcement. I know we missed the past couple of episodes, just scheduling stuff on both ends. Seamus Clancy back on the show on Thursday's episode. So, Seamus time, gear up. We're locked in. Seamus Clancy back on the show on Thursday, which I'm very excited to sit down and chat with Seamus. It's been a hot minute, obviously, but looking forward to having Seamus back on the show once again for his weekly spot that we have set up. So Seamus Clancy back on the show. That's announcement part 1 on Thursday. And during the Sixers season, still working on scheduling-wise, but it is agreed upon. So I feel perfectly comfortable announcing this. We have, similar to Seamus, we're going to have somebody joining us throughout the season to talk Sixers, talk Philly sports in general as well. She covers the Sixers for Liberty Ballers, SB Nation. She's truly an awesome follow on the tweet machine, too, if you're a Philly sports fan. She's a Philly season ticket holder like myself, and she's going to be coming on the pod, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time because I respect her ball knowledge and her sports knowledge, and she covers the Sixers really well for Liberty Ballers, and I wanted to have someone who knows ball, and that is Erin Grugan, who will be coming on the show throughout the Sixers season, joining us here on Underground Sports Philadelphia. So not only will we have Seamus Clancy on weekly spots, but Erin Grugan throughout Sixers season will also be hopping on with us. I'm pumped about it. Erin is wildly knowledgeable about the Sixers, wildly knowledgeable about Philly sports, and getting another female voice out there who absolutely deserves even more shine than she gets. I'm pumped about Erin agreeing to hop on the show throughout the Sixers season, talking all things hoops, talking some Philly sports as well in general along the way. But Erin Grugan, we're adding her to the roster of weekly appearances and just guest spots here on Underground all throughout Sixers season. So stay tuned for Erin's first appearance as well. I'm going to see what her schedule is like this week. She might be on Thursday's episode as well with us. A little Sixers season preview. Who knows? I'll have to hit her up this week. But Erin Grugan on Underground Sports Philadelphia during Sixers season. And like I said, Seamus Clancy back on Thursday's episode. Big time shit, baby. Big time shit. We're bumping and grinding, moving and grooving over here. You know who else is moving and grooving? Our Philadelphia Union. That's right, ladies and gents. The Union playoff schedule has been announced now that everything is in the books. The first game, round 1, game 1, Sunday at 5:30 p.m., October 26th, either against Orlando City FC or Chicago Fire at Subaru Park. It'll be on FS1, which is nice. Watch it on actual TV. Or it'll be on your Apple TV season pass for MLS. And the full schedule for the Union. Game 1, Sunday, 5:30 p.m., October 26th at Subaru Park. Game 2, Saturday, 5:30 p.m., November 1st at the away match location. That would either be in Orlando or Chicago. And then Game 3, if necessary, Saturday, November 8th, time to be determined at the Sub. First game, though, October 26th. I'm pumped about this. I'm going to be locked in for this. I got to get Jimmy King on the show, too. We have so many friends that cover our sports teams so well. But, yeah, this is going to be an exciting game. I love that Columbus is out of the mix. I love that Nashville is out of the mix. And it's going to be the winner of Chicago or Orlando City. The full MLS playoffs are announced as well, the full bracket. It'll be Cincinnati and Columbus. That's a nice little Ohio matchup there. That's going to be fun up there. Miami and Nashville, the Tax Evasion Cup. I crack myself up, man. And then Charlotte and New York City FC, while the Union await the wild card winner. The Tax Evasion Cup. And then in the West, it's Vancouver and Dallas. It's LAFC and Austin. I don't know who that team is. Why do I not recognize that logo? The team that's playing Seattle. San Diego is the 1 seed in the West, though, who will play the winner of Portland and someone, as my computer does a fun rainbow wheel as I try to download this and look at the logo that much closer. Let's see if I can pull it up here. MLS standings. West. Oh, it's Minnesota. So Minnesota is playing Seattle, and Real Salt Lake Portland is the wild card in the West. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun MLS playoffs. I hate the best of 3 thing, though. It's so silly for soccer. It should be 2 games on aggregate, advance. But hopefully that becomes a thing. What is the situation of, like, how the bye works? So these teams are playing on... It's not really a bye. That's so silly. So it's a bye because they're playing on Wednesday, and then they got to play on Sunday? I don't know. That seems kind of goofy, if I had to say so myself. Like, the 2 1-seed teams should be playing the latest. Like, the Union, not that I'm mad that they're playing on a weekend, but, like, they should be playing on Monday or Tuesday. Or even Wednesday. Like, they should have the full break. That's so goofy. MLS needs to fix their playoffs, man. It's so weird. It's so weird. Nonetheless, the Union are in the playoffs. They'll play the winner of Orlando and Chicago, which I think is a winnable series for them. I think they can win it in 2. Yeah, I mean, I'm pumped. I think we should all be excited about this run that the Union are about to go on. They're the best team in Major League Soccer. They win the Supporters' Shield. And this is another opportunity for them to bring home a trophy and win a championship that they fell short of in 2022 and kind of be on an Eagles trajectory where the Eagles fell short in the 2022 season against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And then were able to right the wrongs and go out and finish the job and rewrite history and win the Super Bowl in 2025. The Union can do that right here, right now this year. And obviously the bracket is going to be tough once you get out of your best of 3 matchup, because the Union would then play the winner of Charlotte and New York City, which I think are both beatable teams. Obviously, the Union just lost to Charlotte in the final game of the regular season, but that was more so like, let's get out of here without having anybody get injured, in my opinion. What was their other matchup with Charlotte this year? They won 2-1 in June. in Philly. So, like, it's not like they're an Achilles heel for the Union per se. I think they can beat them. New York City, you beat them 1-0. They beat you 1-0. That's going to be a lot tougher of a matchup, I would say. But I think Charlotte's beatable. I think New York is beatable too. And that would go to that's a single round game once you advance out of the best of 3. So, one and done. You never know what's going to happen. Just win the East and get to the Cup. Get to the Cup and host it. Host the Cup at Subaru Park. That's what we are aiming for. That's the beauty of winning the Supporters Shield. But shout out to the Union. Let's bring it home. Let's have ourselves a time. And as we await our opponent, that first wild card game. Is that the East that plays first? Yes, the East will play first. So they play at 8:30 on Wednesday. So that'll be talking about in real time when Harrison and I record on Wednesday night. But looking forward to that. It's gonna be a fun one. Kind of hope it's Chicago. Not gonna lie. Kind of hope it's Chicago that the Union get. I think that would be the preferred matchup. I could be wrong there. I'm just going off vibes. But Union are in the playoffs. Playoffs are underway finally. And our Union talk there brought to you by our awesome pals over at Bino. Guys, there's no better way to be the talk of your tailgate, be the talk of your party, have the man cave, the she shed buzzing than with Bino. It is the next big tabletop flicking experience, next big tabletop game. It's paper football meets foosball. Use our link in the description. Shop with our friends at Bino. Get your officially licensed Philadelphia Union Bino board. Get all your accoutrement for your board too. You can customize your boards fully with balls, accessories, and more. But use our link in the description to shop with Bino. And when you go to checkout, use code BinoBennett62, and you'll get 10% off your next order. If you use our link, I think it automatically adds the code in, but just to be safe, use our link in the description, shop with Bino, and when you go to checkout, use code BinoBennett62, and you will get 10% off your next order from our friends at Bino. Shout out to Bino for being a proud partner here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is all I've got for you guys on this one. Not too much Phils or baseball talk. I genuinely have not really paid attention to baseball since the Phillies got knocked out, and I'm a baseball head. It's just one of those healing mechanisms that I can't even acknowledge that it's on. I know the Dodgers are going to the World Series again. I know the ALCS has been unbelievable. I'm rooting for whoever in the American League advances, because fuck the Dodgers. But obviously, Rob Thompson is back. Kevin Long is back. The Phillies are going to have a new bench coach. I'm not going to get into the weeds of baseball stuff really for a little bit. We got some football going on right now, both soccer and American football. We got Sixers season on the horizon. The Flyers are playing pretty good hockey right now. I'm going to spotlight the teams that are playing. We did this with the Sixers last year where they were terrible. There was no need for us to talk about them. Flyers, they fell off, and the Eagles are going on a Super Bowl run. So, the Union are in the playoffs. We're going to talk about the things that are active right now, and if news with the Phillies pops off that is worth discussing and giving full segments towards, we will obviously talk it. You guys know I love the Phils, but right now I want to spotlight the teams that are currently active and playing and giving us something to root for, giving us something to cheer for. So, obviously, I will talk Phils all day long, but nothing really shocking in terms of Phillies off-season news right at this moment. So, yeah, we'll see what is on the horizon once the World Series comes to a close. But make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. You can subscribe to my personal YouTube channel at KB Underground as well. Some fun shorts on there. I don't know. I've been thinking about just doing more on my own YouTube channel too, to just get my thoughts off on things. A lot of sports stuff, a lot of entertainment stuff, but nothing crazy, but just my own little bubble there. You can subscribe there if you want. It's linked in the description. Subscribe to the pod, though, really. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. We're on every social platform. We're on every podcast platform. It really means the world when you guys subscribe. So leave those 5-star reviews and subscribe. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We are at 1,110 subscribers, which means we are 90 away from our next 100 subscriber milestone. So keep subscribing, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And this show, guys, is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And like I've been saying, that Garden State Comic Fest is coming. It's coming up quick. Less than a month away. The Garden State Comic Fest is coming to the new Vineland Convention Center Saturday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Meet Melissa Joan Hart, plus fan favorite stars like Dan Parent, the legendary Archie's comic artist and writer, Kevin Clash, the voice of Elmo, Splinter, and Baby Sinclair, Keith Williams, the iconic comic book inker from Marvel, and more. Comics, cosplay, collectibles, and over 6,000 fans. Visit gscfvineland.com for all the details. Again, the Garden State Comic Fest is coming to the new Vineland Convention Center Saturday, November 15th and Sunday, November 16th. For all the details, visit gscfvineland.com. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 787 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. Like I mentioned, myself and HK back in the saddle on Wednesday night recording. Thursday episode, it'll be me and HK. Seamus Clancy on the show. Possibly Aaron Grugan on the show. I got to get her schedule. Hopefully she'll be able to hop on sometime this week to record, to do a little Sixers season preview. And in the near future, Dewani Soraya will be coming back on the podcast as well. We've been talking and yapping, and we need a little venting and therapy session about the Phils, talk some birds, some Flyers, and obviously a whole lot more. But Dewani will be returning to the pod in the near future as well. But big show on Thursday. Harrison, myself, Seamus Clancy back on the show, Aaron Grugan potentially on the show. She'll be making appearances all throughout the Sixers season. So gear up for that. Here they come. But this has been episode number 787. I'm your boy KB. Foles. Bang. It was a fun one. Victory Monday, ladies and gents. I'll see you guys on Thursday with HK, with Seamus, and whatever the hell else comes our way. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here and celebrating Victory Monday. And I'm signing off. Peace.